Alright, today is one of those days where I realize, oh wait, I have a lot to catch up. So I gotta get ready and make sure I have everything prepped to have like a proper break. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue on and do this room. This room is ice. We're gonna work on ice today. Ice is not related to any learning path, but it is very useful in terms of try to privilege escalate on window. So I take this as a proper motivation to like just do this room, because not only you're gonna earn a badge, I already earned the badge because I already complete the room, but it's really helpful and useful in terms of like understanding Metasploit and also understanding using exploit DB from the outside without using Metasploit to try to get some sort of initial foothold and even privilege escalate. So yeah, let's just jump into it. I'm just gonna go ahead and reset the progress, because I feel like it's very useful to like do a guide than just like me try to redo every step with the answer already spoiled. So we're gonna figure it out together, even though I'm already figuring it out. So you could watch this as a walkthrough. It's totally fine. So here it is. Let's reset the guide. So first thing first, you have to connect to the server. It's basically, download your VPN, store it in your VM, or use it from the attack box. You don't need to connect to OpenVPN if you're on attack box. I like to use VM. I'm on VMware, and just launch your sudo OpenVPN and type the path of your VPN. Should be fine here. And yeah, that's the command too. So answer yes, answer that yes. You could check if you're connected. I'm pretty sure I'm connected. If I if I nmap to try to look at the server. Today we're gonna use the same command we always use: st for TCP scan, sv for the version. I don't think we're gonna get much out of this, but we're gonna continue using the same command here. This is an easy room, and also it doesn't have any defense. So last time I tried, it does like shut off the server. So I'm gonna show you which server is gonna shut off soon. So tag A for aggressive, tag VV for double bows to get like the most amount of information we could get, and then paste the IP. So as we ping here, that's mean we connect to the server or the target or the instant, and there we are. Deploy the machine. May take up 3 minutes to start. We know that, and then we could launch or using SynScan. Oh, I forgot about using SS. You could use SS. Let me use SS. So to use SS, we need to use sudo. So if you type SS here, it's a sync scan or quote unquote stealth scan. So you have to type your password and the scan running. So once the scan complete, we'll see the number of interesting port open on this machine. As you might have guessed, the firewall has been disabled. Yeah, they have to disable this. Otherwise, we would have a harder time scanning this with the service completely shut down, leaving very little to protect this machine. One of the more interesting port that is open is Microsoft Remote Desktop, MSRDP. What port is this open on? So, from the initial scan here, we don't get the result yet. I actually did this room on a laptop, so I'm currently on a desktop, and nothing has saved on this VM. So we basically kind of do it fresh. I mean, I could look up my node, but I'm pretty sure I could navigate through this pretty easily. Yeah, so we're gonna wait a little bit for the result to come in, and we're gonna continue on. All right, there it is. That is our result. We're gonna scroll up to find the MSRDP here, and this is the server we want to know. Port 8000, that's the thing we want to know. So MSRDP, let's say it have 2-letter, 4-letter, not 2-letter, and is it 3989? Yeah, 3989 is we're not sure. We could like basically Google this real quick. So MSWBT server, for some reason it's been pretty laggy on my VM. I'm not sure why that is. So again, we're gonna link to Hacktrick, which is, I love Hacktrick. Hacktrick has been very helpful, but we're not gonna use Hacktrick because this room is pretty easy to navigate through. So that is the answer for the third question, so the third question is, what is the Microsoft Remote Desktop? What port it is? It is 3389 here. And next question, what server did Nmap identify as running on port 8000? And it is Icecast. So Icecast is a streaming media service. You could also Google that too if you're not sure. So that is Icecast, a streaming media project released as free software maintained by ziff.org. I don't know how to pronounce this, but there it is. And what does Nmap identify as the host name of the machine? It is dark or dark something, dark PC, that is. So that's not too hard. Look at the same port from question number 3 here, and we'll say all cap for the answer. Doesn't matter. They also use a script for this too. So if you want, you can redo. So instead of SV, we could try SC and do the same thing. So I'll let it run. But we're going to go on to the next task. We're going to jump back to this when the Nmap result is ready. So gaining access or gain access, task 3, exploit the target vulnerable service to gain a foothold. I'm just going to open a new tab here. Answer the question below. Now that we identify some interesting service running on our target machine, let's do a little bit of research into one of the weirder service identify. Icecast. Icecast, or well, at least this version running on our target, is heavily flawed and have high level of vulnerability with a score of 7.5, 7.4, depend on where you view it. What is the impact score for this vulnerability? So we're just gonna copy this link to CVE detail here and paste it, and we have to look up Icecast on the search bar here. So instead of go to vendor, I think it's product and Icecast. So and we could look at the vulnerability and 14. I don't know why this thing keep asking me to accept a cookie. So what I'm gonna do is block I can't even do it. Nice. All right, but I think I can. It's just the VM's not working. My VM having a really hard time right now. I'm not sure why. All right, after a restart of my VM, because I think it's the endpoint, so like the client size on my end, it's just having a hard time running VM for some reason. But anyways, we gave it a bit of restart here, and we went back to the CVE details and we searched for Icecast and security vulnerability or the CVE. We're just gonna scroll down to define the impact score for this question. So if we scroll down, you want to look at the max CVSS, so the max CVSS and also the EPSS score, and the one that has the most point here is the 2004-15-61, and it also has like a public exploit type of logo here. So like this is important. So this is what we want to look at. If you read the detail, it's a buffer overflow in Icecast 2.0.1 and earlier allows a remote attacker to execute arbitrary code with an HTTP request with a large numbers of headers. So this is important. So if you want to try it, instead of answer the impact score first, you want to try to answer the CVE number for this vulnerability, and there it is. So by doing so, you kind of give it a guess and get the correct answer. So just click onto that and look at the impact score here, and it say 6.4, and that is our answer here, 6.4. So the CVE again is 2004-15-61, and the impact score is 6.4. So now that we found our vulnerability, let's find our exploit. For this section of the room, we'll use Metasploit module associated with this exploit. Let's go ahead and try and start Metasploit using command NSF console. So just a quick jump back, the room give you this hint to look at the host name for the machine, and we try to scan it with the SC, and the computer name also say dark PC. So that's not, just a quick jump back. It's also say dark PC here for NetBIOS. That is a quick note, but let's go ahead and launch our NSF console. So you could either type NSF console. I like to add tag Q here to get the quiet mode, and the quiet mode gonna not showing you any logo or any like those emote type of text. So it just save you a bunch of time and space on your terminal. And yeah, so after Metasploit has started, let's search for our target exploit using the command search Icecast. So we could search Icecast. And there's only one exploit available here, so copy the path and paste it onto the question answer here. So if you are not familiar with Metasploit, look Metasploit module, but like just answer it. Exploit window HTTP icecast header or underscore header is our path to the exploit. That would be the correct answer. Let's go ahead and select this module. So we're going to use 0 and show option. Instead of type show option, just type options and we check that. Following selecting our module, we now have to check the option. We have to set run a command show option. I already run it, so just type option. If you want to, you don't need to type shows. What is the only required setting which currently is blank? It is all hosts. If you can see here, current setting all hosts is blank. Just type all hosts or copy all hosts. Let me type it is all hosts, and first check our L host option and set it to our ton 0 IP, which found in the access page. So just to explain for this, if you're new to using Metasploit, you could set the all host to the remote host. So all is stand for remote, and remote host is the target. So you just paste the target IPs and set it, and then we have to set our L host. L is stand for local. So we have to set it to our IP. So whatever your OpenVPN IP is, or attack box IP, you could type ifconfig, ipconfigs. I think it both work on Kali. Let's see, ifconfigs. I know it's work, and then ipconfigs also work too. No, it's not working. Yeah, so ifconfig config is good. I think IPA is also fine too. Yeah, IPA highlight the IP and everything. I'm not gonna zoom in because it's not necessary, but just do it on your own. And usually TryHackMe VPN start with 10, and then mine is 10.13.47211. So we can set that. That's already set. I'm gonna clear the terminal real quick with Control L and type options again to look at the option. So we just set both the all hosts. This is the target host, the remote host, and then our L host is our local host, which is our machine. You could type run to start the exploit. Simple as that. So that is done with this question. We're gonna move on to task 4, escalate. Woohoo! We gained foothold onto our victim machine. What's the name of the shell we have now? It is Meterpreter. That is the default shell usually run on Metasploit. Meterpreter is a great tool. Too bad we were not allowed to use it. We only allowed to use it on once on OSCPs, but if it's like a regular CTF, Meterpreter is amazing. What user is running that icecast process? The command used on this question and the next few are taken directly from Metasploit module. So is it get UID? Yeah, so get UID is the service that showing who is running the service that we just exploit. So again, the user that is running icecast is dark. So that is the answer here. Which build? So to get the build, I think we have to type, let's see here, let's use help. If you're not sure what to type, just type helps. So it's gonna give you all the command we allowed to use on Meterpreter. So just scroll down. I'm already scroll up, so I'm not gonna scroll back down. And if you read the command in the description here, attempt to elevate your privilege, that is the local system. Is it get system? Let's give a try. Get system, maybe not, maybe okay, so this is a different command, but we could use this to escalate our privilege. But to get the window built, I think we have to use, let's see, get UID sysinfo. Makes sense. So type sysinfo, and that is the build. So that is OS Windows 7 6.1 build 7601. So that is the number of the build. That's correct answer. So sysinfo, what it does is to get information about the remote system such as OS, and we're gonna look at the OS line and look at the number after the build. So whatever the number is, just type that on the answer and it should be the correct answer. Now we know some of the finer detail of the system we are working with. Let's start escalating our privilege. First, what is the architects of the process we're running? Just look at this architecture. So it's x64. I keep saying x86 because earlier I did some sort of malware analysis with basically 32-bit, so x86. But it is x64. That is the architecture of the system. Now we know the architecture of the process, or of the process, not the system. Let's perform some further recon. While this doesn't work best on a x64 machine, let's now run the following command: run post multi recon local exploit suggester. So you could either type this and or paste it like this. What it does is basically enumerate the system and try to find vulnerability in the system and give you like a suggest on what exploit to use on this system. So if you ever done CTF before, or ever use LinPeas or WinPeas, anything similar to that, there are exploit suggester script too that is named after that, like exploit suggester. Those are amazing script or tool that you could use to find any vulnerable service attack vector on the system. So there are 41 vulnerability here, and we could check that, complete the answer. Potentially vulnerability. So potential vulnerability, there are 10, and then everything else doesn't work. Anything that I read isn't reliable enough for us to escalate our privilege or use it as a attack vector basically. So the first one, so running local exploit suggester will return quite a few results for potential escalation exploit. What is the full path? Start with the exploit from the first return exploit, and you need to look further. Just read this one. So it is exploit window local bypass UAC event viewer or event VWR appear to be vulnerable. So that is the answer. Now we have an exploit in mind for elevating our privilege. Let's background our current session using the command background or Control Z. First thing first, before I do anything, I actually forgot to screenshot this part. I recommend you screenshot everything, especially like what exploit, what vulnerability that scan, and yeah, it's important for like later on, especially on the last step. I'll show you how. I'll figure out how actually. Haven't done the very last step yet, so that's something to look forward to. So all we have to do is Control Z and type Y, enter. We background the session basically, and now we gonna type use and paste the path of the exploit that we looked earlier. So the first one, again, I want to scroll back up. So we want to paste this path. So we want to use this exploit here, exploit window local bypass UAC event VWR or event viewer. That is the exploit we want to use. So, and we're gonna type options. Now we have to set the session and the lhost. So if you read it through here, again, show option and then set the session to 1, because we background the session earlier to session 1. So now we have to set it to 1 to refer back to that session when we are ready to run this exploit. And set the lhost. Again, this is local host. So type your IP. Mine is 10.13.47.211. That should be ready. So I'm gonna type options again. So this is the session we just set, and this is the lhost, our local host. Have that ready. Now we're gonna run. Let's see. Now we set our session number. Further option will be revealed in the option menu. We'll have to set one more as our listener IP is incorrect. What is the name of this option? Again, it is lhost. After we set this last option, we can run our privilege escalation exploit. So we're gonna run it. Let me clear the terminal and run it. Note this might take a few attempts. You may need to relaunch the box and exploit the service in case of this fail. I have this fail many times when I did this actually yesterday on the laptop. So yeah, if it failed, just restart the box and refresh. But right now everything went smoothly and it should be fine. So following completion of privilege, new session will be open. Interact with it now using the command session number, but we don't need to. If it's successful, it usually just set, it moved the interpreter to session 2 or whatever the next session is. So have that complete. We can verify that we have expanded permission using using the command get priv or get privilege. So we want to look into the privilege we have here. What permission listed allow us to take ownership of the file. And if you want to look at the hint, the permission will be close to the bottom of those lists. So take ownership here stand out the most, because this is what allowed us to expand permission or take ownership. So like the question basically hint us to this answer here. SE, take ownership privilege, be the correct answer. Let's move on to task 5 or task 4. Did I complete task 4? Oh yeah, task IP address. Oh, this is fine. You don't need to type this. I showed this. So once you answer that, it should be fine. That's just to check our IP. I did try IPA and ifconfig. Both have worked, so it shouldn't be a problem here. Move on to task 5, looting. Now we want to like basically harvesting credential and get all the info we need to basically gain the most privilege out of this system. So we're gonna type PS here. So so prior to further action, we need to move to a process that actually has permission that we need to interact with. The LSAS service, the service responsible for authentication within Windows. First, let's list the process using the command PS. Note that we have seen process being run by anti-authority system as we have Escalate permission, even though our process doesn't. So anti-authority is the highest privilege within the Windows system. So if you have that privilege, you basically have the access to everything within the system. So couple things to note here. This is Icecast, and Icecast is run by Dark. So this is what we actually gaining our foothold into. So again, even though our process doesn't, this is our process that we gaining our initial foothold. We don't have the most permission here. So just answer that. And in order to interact with LSAS, we need to be living in a process that is the same architecture as the LSAS service x64 in the case of this machine, and a process that has the same permission as LSAS. The Sprinter spool service happened to meet our need perfectly for this, and it'll restart if we crash it. What's the name of the printer service? Mentioned within this question is the term living in a process. Often we take over a running program. We ultimately load another shell library into the program, a DLL, which include our malicious code. From this, we can spawn a new thread that hosts our shell. So we want to look for the spool service for printer, and it is spoolservice.xex. So if you copy that and answer it, that should be the correct answer. And migrate this process now with the command migrate TACN process. I think you don't need to TACN. I think you have to type the let's try migrate. So you want to look at the PID here, the one all the way to the left. So if I scroll up, you see PID, and just align that. So 1380 is our PID we want to use. So if you type migrate 1380 without the N, we should be fine. So if you see the PID of 3036, this is the PowerShell. It's also run by Dark too. That is migration complete successfully. So we could try to check the get UID again. I'm going to clear the command again, Control L, and get UID, and we should get anti-authority system. So we know we have the most privilege now. Now that we made our way to full administrator permission, we'll set our sight on looting. Mimikatz is a rather infamous password dumping tool that is incredibly useful. Load it now using the command load Kiwi. Load Kiwi. Kiwi is the update version of Mimikatz. Okay, load Kiwi into our interpreted session. We'll expand our help menu. Take a look. Use the newly section. So you just type help, and there it is. We see Kiwi commands. So that is our new section that we just load after we load the Kiwi. What command allows to retrieve all credential? This is the first one. Retrieve all credential here. Parse. So Cred all or Creds all is the answer. Run this command now. What is dark password? So we're gonna run the command. Mimikatz allows us to steal this password out of memory even without the user dark log in, as there is a scheduled task that is running the Icecast as user dark. It's also helped that window defender doesn't running in the box. Smiley face. Take the loot. Take a look again at the PS list. This box isn't in the best shape with both the firewall and defender disabled. You need to take a look at it. It's basically, the PS for the firewall and Windows Defender doesn't exist at all. So the password for user dark is password01. That is the correct answer here. We're gonna move on to task 6, post exploitation. So explore post exploitation action we can take on Windows. Before we start our post exploitation, let's revisit the help menu one last time. In the interpreter shell, we'll answer the following question using that menu. What command allows to dump all the password hash stored on the system? We won't crack the administrative password in this case as it is pretty strong. This is intentional to avoid password spraying attempts. It should be hash dump. It is correct. So it's actually not part of the Mimikatz. It's actually part of the original interpreter. I actually used this when I tried my first attempt on this machine and it's just like not doing anything. But I think now it should like give us the correct password, the hash. Let's see, let's find hash dump. There it is. Dump the content of SAM database. So if you want to type that, it should dump the hash too now. Yeah, so you could either try to copy this and try to crack it. This is hard though. This gonna be hard to crack the hash because again it's say on the room here, it's pretty strong to keep us from basically password spraying it. But while more useful when interacting with the machine, a machine being used, what command allows to watch the remote user? So if you want to scroll up, it should be screen share as far as could remember. That is screen share, watch the remote user desktop in real time. So screen share is our answer here. What about if we want to record from the microphone attached to the VM? This is some spooky stuff. It is record my spooky stuff. That's, I wouldn't want my system to be hacked by interpreter because spooky stuff. We could try screenshot after this. Let me try screenshot. I want to see where it's saved. Screenshot. Save home Cali. So let's open it up. Oh, see this? Insane stuff. So it actually screenshot the desktop or the screen, whatever the screen is. It is insane. I wouldn't want to have this be on my PC. Basically the interpreter is basically getting hacked. To complicate this forensic effort, we can modify timestamp of the file on the system. What command allowed us to do this? Don't ever do this in a pen test unless you are explicitly allowed to do so. This is not beneficial to the defending team as they try to break down the event of the pen test after the facts. So if you actually like if you're actually doing pen tests, don't do it. But like if you do criminal work, a timestamp would be your friend here because it's complicating defense analysts like digital forensic analysts to just track you down. The timestamp here, manipulate the file MACE. What is MACE? Oh, I accidentally closed Firefox, so we can open it again. Let's see here. Not that maze, like the maze file. Oh, and completely wrong. So last modify, last access, file creation, and entry. Huh, makes sense. All right. So yeah, it would be like giving the digital forensic analyst a really hard time. So Mimikatz allows us to create what's called golden ticket, allowing us to authenticate anywhere with ease. What command allows us to do this? Golden ticket attacks are a function within Mimikatz which abuse the component of Kerberos, the authentication system in Windows domain, the ticket granting ticket. In short, golden ticket attack allowed us to maintain persistent and authenticate as any user on the domain. So this is the command. You read the description, create a golden Kerberos ticket. So let's move on to the last question. Last thing to note, we have the password for user dark. Now we can authenticate the machine, access it to remote desktop, MSREM. This is a workstation. We'll likely kick whatever user is signed on to is off if we connect to. However, it's always interesting to remote into machine and view them as the user do. If it isn't already been enabled, we can enable it with run post window. So we could type this again. So we could type this out. Enable RDP. I think we should like get a connection to the let's see how looting. So MSF40 Metasploit loot default. Let's see, we gotta access that to the terminal. So let me cd to see here, cd to that. I don't know why it's in quote. We could cat So we could sublime this actually. 24 something, a long one. Execute H and firewall. Okay. So I think we could use Reminar here. If we want to check the have Reminar installed, nope. Then install real quick. Type the wrong password. Do it again. Got to update the Kali machine, but I'm gonna update it soon. So we're gonna do Reminar again. Let's see here. And all we have to do is server, which is gonna copy and paste the IP of the target, and then username, I think it's dark, and then password is password 001. Let's check here. Yeah, that's the password. We can connect to it, but not connect. Okay, let's try again. Dark and password again. Okay, we're not allowed to connect on this. That's fine. It's okay. All right, so we have that done. Let's move on to the extra credit. Here is what I'm excited to do. So the extra credit, the room gave us this link to exploit DB, and it's basically a script that we could run like a netcat, and it's reverse shell back to the netcat if I remember correctly. So what happened is this isn't actually is too old for us to run this script alone, because it come out a long time ago. The date is 2004, so this wouldn't work currently. But if you want to make it work, you could actually Google the CVE here and type exploit GitHub. So Icecast, I think the first one would be fine. Ivan it learning, and we could click into this 568. Again, this is 568. Look how old this is. This is like the 568 exploit, really old. This is like exploit on exploit DB, like 568. That's like an old exploit. So we copy this. No, not code. Where is the copy button? So I could copy this, and let me close all of this stuff and paste it. And the thing we want to change here are this unsigned shellcode here. So what we have to do is change the L host to our IP address. You don't have to actually edit this on the notepad. Just like make sure you write the correct command. So once we write the correct IP, this is my IP, this is depend on whatever IP you have. So just gonna open a new tab. So we want to generate a new shell. There it is, a new shell. So we're gonna use NSF Venom, tag AX86 for the 32 bits, and platform window, tag P for payload, Windows shell reverse TCP, and an L host would be whatever your IP address is, and then L port to 443. Tag B, this is like I would say like a binary code if I'm not mistaken, and tag FC to compile. The file is compile, so we're just gonna use that. Take a little bit to generate. So once this is generate, we could copy this unsigned char here. After, like, you have to copy everything here. If this doesn't work, we could run the Python, but I think this is gonna work. So just paste that over the old shellcode looking like everything with the X backward slash X, etc., and save that to a new folder here. Let me give it the name for this folder, ice, and then the name of this file is 568.c, I think, .c for the compile name, compile file, and we can cd to that. So ice. So just the ls here, we can see the compile file. And now we have to compile it. So gcc, that is the program we want to use, and 568.c, and then tag O for the output, and then 568 again. One that's compiled, we're gonna ls, we're gonna see this kind of like binary looking here, and we're gonna chmod 568. No, actually chmod plus X to give the execute permission to 568, and we could start a horizontal. Oh, what's wrong with this thing? Oh, there it is. We could start a netcat lvnp 443 according to the code we just have, and then we have to type 568. I think, let's see here, scroll up, I think it's gonna tell you how to use this. So to target, so 568, let's see. Oh, so ./568 to execute this, and type the target IP. See if this worked. Last time I didn't get it to work, so import 8000. There it is. It works. So Once you run that, you get a foothold. You basically exploit the ice cast again. This is an exploit for the ice cast. You basically get a foothold to this. And after that, you could also run WinP. So in window, we could type, no, actually let me cd to, I know people use temp, but I like to use public. So I'm gonna cd out. I'm just gonna close the terminal up top here and expand this. We use this whole thing. We have all the space we need. And cd to users. I could cd again to public. I should do that in for one line. But anyways, not ls, we could dir it. So I'm in the directory of user public, and I cleared the cls. Can you clear it? No, clear doesn't work. Cls does work, but it just, you know, we can't really clear it since we're on a reverse shell. So we don't have much option here, so we could cert util this. Before we cert util, we could start a Python. Let me cd out to tool. Actually, I'm gonna explain why real quick. Where's my tool? Where do I put my tool? cd tool. I do have winp.xex, so that's good. So what I want to do here, I'm gonna ls for you to see. This is optional really. I just want to do it to make sure if it works. So when I ls in tool on my end, you can see winps x64.xex here, and I'm gonna start on the Python 3. So I want to basically download the winp to this machine. So it's cert util, I think tag. Let me remind myself how the command works. Okay, so it is cert util tag url cache and then tag f, right? Okay, yeah, tag f, and then http // and type out the IP of your Python server. So mine is basically my IP, and then port 8000 just to specify, and then winps, make sure you type the correct name of this, x64.xex. Let's double check. Yeah, x64.xex, and we want to output it to the name of winps instead of winp x64, longer type. So that's gonna download the winp.xex. It is to say online, so that's good. And so when we have winps downloaded, we could run it. I think it's just winps.xex. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. It should run. So let it scan. It's gonna scan for any vulnerability on this machine. Obviously, there's no firewall or defense. Microsoft Defender, so this is much easier to like run this winp and everything. So now I get the SID. That's good. Let me try here. Something I need to try. So I have my interpreter still running. Just like try Google golden ticket again. So nope. And me. Let me look up golden ticket syntax. Oh, who am I /user? Can we do that here? Try shell. Who am I? This is, I'm doing back and forth, but I just want to check. Anti-authority is S1518. So that's okay. No, not permanent channel. Let's try Control Z. So if I do this, no, that's not correct. Let's try syntax again. Use kiwi klist. I want to escalate the privilege. That's my goal here. D corp. So the main is corp. K password hash. S is for the Okay. Well, even I cannot explain this, but I just want to know. Well, I did this exploit basically my own way, but I got the idea from the channel called Hackersploit. His channel is really big. He's almost half a million subscriber. So I'm just gonna link down below of his video. But I finally found the exploit, and to escalate the privilege, and also every other resource I used for this escalation. I'm gonna link it. So what he used was, well, he used different exploit. So he used MS058. So he used this one. So but whatever it is, we want to look up for the window kernel exploit, and we basically want to upload the exploit onto the machine. And if we have the permission, since we have all the permission for this directory dark desktop, we could upload it straight to there and basically run it. ms14.xex. This is another file. This is different. I use ms14040x64.xex. Hackersploit use another xex, but it's based from the same GitHub link. So I'm just gonna link this down too. So again, I just want to make sure I run a fresh machine to show this. So just to show you here on this initial exploit, this is live again. I just did privilege escalation live. So just remember this IP. It's gonna be a different IP soon. So 10.10.84.66. I'm just gonna terminate this and basically start a new machine. All right, just to make sure, I'm gonna scan the port again on Nmap with this new machine that I created. It's only well, 8 minutes in. And also I'm gonna clear this out, and I'm gonna restart everything, clear it out, start the server, and then change the IP. Make sure I have this open. So I'm gonna listen to netcat again. So we basically started from extra credit task 7. So we basically run the exploit 568 from exploit DB again. So 443 as our port that we're gonna use, and we basically use the same execution from earlier, 1091. So I'm just gonna wait for this to scan. No, it's not scanning again. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll try it. So it should say it's runnable. Okay, we got in. So that's good. So now all we have to do is cd to user desktop, user dark desktop. Oh, try it again. I think it's double previous. So cd, no, man, it's just this. If it let me copy, there you go. Okay, so we're in the correct path. So if I dir it, we only see icecast.xex and icecast2 win32.link. So what we have to do is search util. So what we want to do is to download, let me ls here. We want to download these ms14040. So this is different than Hackersploit video, but it just came from the same GitHub link. So cert util URL cache. So I'm pretty sure whatever xex you download, as long as it's like a kernel exploit xex binary, you could run it and get root. So that's what my suspicion is. So tag f http 10.13.47. We're gonna download the file from there. So, and then port 8000, and then we want to copy this ms14040, and then paste the same name again, have it downloaded. As you can see here, something gonna download. There we go. We're gonna get this download notification. All right, it's successfully downloaded. So we're gonna dir. Okay, we see this running, and not just running, existing in the desktop directory, dark desktop. Since we have the full access of this, we're gonna run it. It's gonna run. Give it a while. I think it should give us NT authority. So it's gonna change once it get the NT authority. It's gonna just automatically change to system 32, as far as I understand. Come on, you can do it. Hey, there we go. So who am I? NT authority. Let's go. Okay, so we could, if we dir, we see a whole bunch of stuff here. I don't think there's a flag. It's just an extra curriculum, extra credit type of task. But here we are. So if you go ahead and watch Hackersploit video, I'm just gonna link it down below too. He's gonna use another binary. It's a similar one. So like I use the 04064.xex. He'll use the 05058. So it's basically a similar binary. It just like used the window kernel exploit, since it's like running on Windows 7. So it's so vulnerable that you could just exploit it through there. So that's a good thing. That's a good to know. I'm happy that I solved this, even though it's not even required to. But I learned something from this, and that is important, even though I spent 3 hours on this machine for no reason. But that's it though. I hope you learned something too. But again, all we need is find the correct binary for the kernel exploit to escalate privilege if we don't use Metasploit. Basically, I didn't use Metasploit. This is a new machine. All we have to do is run the 568 exploit to get initial foothold, and download the ms14 040x64.xex and run it, and basically we get the anti-authority system privilege. That is it for this video though. Took me a while, but yeah, I'm glad I solved it. Hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Here we go. Congratulations. Yay. And we got the badge. Let's view the badge. There it is. ICE exploit window with window media server. And we got the ICE on the wrist. All right. Bye-bye.